So, you're ready to purchase the vehicle but don't know where to start? Come visit us at Express Imports Inc. We're your one-stop shop, stocking a wide range of quality used vehicles to meet your every need. From sign-up and referrals to registration and routine maintenance, we're here for you. Give us a call at 537-0141 or come down to our Green Hill St. Michael location. Opening hours are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You can also join the Express family from the comfort of your home or office by using our online sign-up and viewing options. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Express Imports Inc.
Hello everyone and welcome back to some closed road rallying. It's been some time, but great to see both spectators and competitors alike back on the stages thanks to the lobbying efforts of the Barbados Motoring Federation and a number of its membered clubs. Without this triumph, motorsport would be done under strict protocols. Kickstarting things for the 2022 season would be round 1 of the MCBI Championship titled Spring Blaze, and judging from the conditions it was an appropriate name. Before the start of the event, we made our way to Bushy Park Circuit. This would act as a service and scrutineering point for the day's events and would give us the opportunity to catch up with a few of the drivers. One such driver was Rob Swan, who from the previous day's running didn't have the best of starts to the championship.
No, on the practice run we had an issue with the gearbox, and it was I spun at the barrel, and the gearbox was making a noise. So we came back in and retired the car and took the gearbox out and found damage to the gear. So we rebuilt the gearbox. So we should be all good for today. No, we haven't. And again, you know, for me, it's quite unusual to not run with a co-driver. So we're going to ease into it and see how we are. But we're not going to use it as a test event. We're just going to ease into each direction of it and try and get some good setup on the car as well. Because obviously we haven't set the car up for Barbados as yet. We've got a base setting, but we've probably got to dial it in a little bit more as well. And obviously not running yesterday, lost a little bit of seat time, but that's okay. We'll be okay today.
Swan's presence was not just to catch the usual island rally vibe, but to join 8 other R5 competitors competing in the first rounds of the First Citizens R5 Rally Championship. This championship is slated to run alongside the other established championships and other motorsport disciplines. For many, Stuart Maloney is still considered the man to beat in R5, so we caught up with him to get his feelings about the championship and his fellow competitors.
I think that what we have is a catalyst for an amazing championship, an amazing class. I think it's only going to grow leaps and bounds from here. This is just a start. And everything that's been done so far and that continues in plans to be done is really going to grow the R5 championship and make it the premier championship, not only in Barbados but throughout the Caribbean. Well, it was great, obviously, to get the motorsport kicked off in its fullness yesterday and to have all of the guys with the R5s, those overseas and those locally competing. So it was great to see all the R5s out.
So, with scrutineering done and dusted, we headed to stage start of the first direction. Starting things off with a top 10 overall was Mark Maloney, who would be sharing the car with his nephew Zane. Mark would clock the fastest time on his third run, a time of 2 minutes 28.31. Next up, and jointly sponsored with Red 265 Motorsport, was Solomon Assouf and Justin Harris, who had pushed throughout the morning for a 9th overall and 7th in class. Coming in 8th overall and 6th in group would be Andrew Malalou, who would improve upon his first run by nearly 10 seconds. No hanging about from Andrew. 7th overall and coming 5th in the group was Mr. Consistency himself, Roger Hill, who didn't seem to put a foot wrong throughout the morning direction. After not getting much seat time the day before, Rob Swan would settle for a 6th overall time, showing that there was still much more to get out of the Fiesta with further event opportunities. punching well above his weight, the fastest two-wheel drive was Barry Mayers, who would finish the first direction 5th overall. Pushing straight out the gates in what could be his most competitive season of motorsport in a year, Jeffrey Panton pulled off his fastest time in his last run with a 4th overall finish. Regaining confidence from last weekend's incident, Stuart Maloney would again prove that he was the man to beat for the 2022 championship, putting his Skoda in 3rd place overall. Speaking of confidence, fresh off from his first races in the FIA Formula 3 series, Zane Maloney would put that precision driving to the test on the high-speed stage to put himself the fastest of the R5s and 2nd overall. Driving as if he had missed no events for some time, the power of the S12 was no match for fellow competitors, and Dane Skeet would take a comfortable win, with only the one run being lost to Zane. So that rounds up the top 10 of the first direction, but before we look at the action of the reverse direction, let's mention the top drivers of the other groups taking part. Starting things off, Edward Corbett, who would take overall honours in Group Modified 1, in this Daihatsu Charlotte. Next up is Mark Thompson in his Modified 4 Mitsubishi Evo 9, who would only get in 2 of the 4 runs, to the excitement of most fans nonetheless. Setting what would be the most exciting drive for the day was Sean Corbin in his Bimmer Cup car, which would also land him as fastest in Clubman. Running solo in Clubman 3, but still showing pace throughout the morning for a 22nd overall finish was Stuart Garcia. Closing off the group wins was Calvin Briggs in his Ford Sierra Cosworth, who would finish 1st in Group B. With all of that in mind, here is a good look at the overall results so far. Prior to heading to the next stages, we noticed the lovely scrutineer Adrian Linton doing a bit more than his usual mechanical and technical checks on the cars, so we decided to have a chat and get a better understanding of this FIA initiative.
So we're fitting IDRs to all the competing cars. IDR is an impact data recorder. We've been asked by the FIA to trial these devices, so I am deploying them and activating them, and then they just sit quietly and do absolutely nothing for 2 years until the battery runs out, or until there's a major incident of some sort, in which case it automatically triggers and records the G-forces and so on that are experienced, and that will help hopefully the FIA to improve on safety measures and understand the mechanisms behind accidents a little bit better. First things first, let's go to the device. So this is it. It's small, light, flexible, self-adhesive, and this basically is stuck into the car. That's that. Right. And then the activation is done by Bluetooth. And that's it. There's nothing else to do unless we need to gather data. And again, we gather data via Bluetooth. It gets sent automatically to the FIA, and then they in turn will send us back very shortly after the data collected. So they share the data with us as well.
Got it.
Now back to the action, this time in the reverse direction. First up, and 10th overall was Paul Horton, putting in a more improved drive from the morning session. Fastest two-wheel drive and putting in an impressive 9th overall was Andrew Jones in his Ford Escort Mark II. Next up, and unfortunately not having the best of runs in the reverse direction, was Roger Hill, who would have to settle for 8th overall. Meanwhile, with a hard-fought 7th overall, Andrew Malaloo would improve his overall performance from the morning direction. Rob Swan would manage to maintain his 6th overall he received from the first direction, but this time around his best time would be only a second off the 3rd overall. Finally getting to put in all 4 of his runs would see Mark Thompson ending the day 5th overall in the reverse direction, while at the same time battling R5s for the top position. Turning up the heat from his morning session performance was Salman Issouf, who would improve his placing by jumping from 9th to 4th overall. The level of competition in the R5 class could be seen through Jeffrey Panson's performance throughout the day, which would put him up to 3rd overall, even with having a stage ending off on the last run of the day. Second overall, and finishing the day as the fastest Maloney, was Stewart, who showed that added seat time at the beginning of the year clearly improved his overall performance. Rather unsurprisingly, fastest overall and winner in both directions would be Dane Skeet, driving his Subaru S12 WRC. Now looking into the class winners, fastest in Modified 1 was Edward Corbin, who would end the day with an impressive 12th overall. Most flamboyant and impressively quick was Sean Corbin in his BMW, who would be fastest overall in Clubman 2. Taking it to Calvin Briggs this direction, Sean Eversley would take first in Group B in his pocket rocket of the Suzuki Swift. And last but certainly not least, again improving each run would be Stuart Garcia, who would take the Clubman 3 class win, all the while stacking up a strong championship points position. And on that note, that's it for the competition here today, but let's take a quick look at the overall times for Direction 2. That's it, everyone. Please do subscribe for the best rally content the Caribbean has to offer, and if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and share it among your friends. I've been Chris Reardon, and thank you for watching Red 265 Motorsport. We'll see you next time.